Hey there, rocking my CC the Love original tee. Tell your story. I love hearing your stories. If you want to link in Calendly, feel free. Chapter 4, Crushing It. Crushing It collections here talks about what's holding you back. Fear of failure, fear of thinking that you're wasting your time, fear of coming across as vain. And so he addresses those, uses some different stories. And so one of the interesting things that he talks about in here, what's holding some people back, is they might have some excuses like the following. I have a full-time job, I don't have any money, I have kids, I don't have time, my industry has too many strict rules, my parents don't get it, my family's holding me back, I'm afraid my friends will get ahead of me, I'm too old, I don't know where to start, on and on. All these different excuses that we allow ourselves to believe. The fear of failure to me means that you probably haven't done enough preparation and you probably should do something, prepare yourself to be able to get ready. When it comes to just the fear of feeling like you're going to waste your time, is you're probably already wasting your time anyways with other stuff, so you may as well fill it in with something that can maybe take you to the next level. And I find that to be extremely powerful for a lot of people. And then finally, he talks about when you're just seen as vain, because you're doing it wrong if you think you're going to come across as vain. It's not about taking a selfie with your cleavage, or it's not like a dude taking your shirt off taking a selfie. It is about being able to put yourself in a position to be seen as a go-to, as an industry expert, as a specialist, as somebody that knows their craft. So for example, if it's a bunch of videos of me drumming, I'm trying to show myself in a show me world, because that's exactly what we live in. You no longer have to live behind a black and white resume. You now have the ability to show people exactly what you can do. And it reminds me of my brother-in-law. He was an attorney, and he decided on his resume, he put at the very bottom this YouTube video. So when he was an attorney in Kentucky, they actually have like 7 different cameras that when he was in, he had this case where he was, had gone to trial. And so he has like his closing arguments. He has like some of his arguments back and forth, and then it has him closing. And so it's all video just of him. So no other, no defendants, no one from the public. And so it was a great way that he could show his ability to be able to argue a case, where it doesn't matter how good you are in your text on your resume, it does not speak to the volume of a video. So think about that old adage that a picture can paint 1,000 words. How many words does a video paint? Literally millions. And so it can be a way that you can showcase to people exactly who you are. At the same time, you don't need to be seen as an expert. The beauty of what we talked about in chapter 3 with content is that as you're documenting versus creating, you're showing that you can have credibility as you're gaining expertise, as you're gaining knowledge, and you're showing people, this is how I'm building it, from the ground up. I'm not an expert at this. I'm learning, and I'm going through this, and let's see what happens. I think it to be very, very powerful. And then the final thing that he talks about is just setting your mind to success. And that to me is extremely powerful. So a lot of people are like, well, what if I don't make it? What if you do? So instead of thinking the negative, instead of thinking that it's not going to happen, have your mind trained on it's going to lead to success. That the actions that you're doing right now will lead to success. Because, let me give you an example. If we're farmers, let's just take this back, and we're planting seeds. Let's say we plant millions of seeds one year, and we water it, and the sun comes out, and again, we take care of it, we tend it. What's invariably going to happen? And let's say it's corn. Invariably what's going to happen is up's going to pop corn. It is. Now, we might not have as big of a harvest that we want to. It might be a little bit smaller of a crop that we wanted it to be. But guess what's going to come up is corn. So the weird thing about it, I don't know why it works this way, but in business, sometimes when we have this attitude of, hey, I'm going to spend some time on building my own personal brand, what if in 10 years it doesn't go anywhere? Basically, it'd be the same to saying that farmer, if you plant that corn, you water it and you tend it and you learn, you get better at it, it's not going to grow anything. So you're saying of all those seeds, none of them's going to hatch? No, I don't believe that for 1 second. And that's where I find for a lot of people, and again, it goes back to the chapter number 2, those 7 essential qualities. One of them is work. So make sure that the work that you're doing leads to the success that you want. And understand that success, for me, I take Earl Nightingale's definition, success is deliberately doing what you intended to do. So it's the school teacher that wants to be a teacher that is now teaching. It's the person that wants to become a professional dog walker and then does. It's the person that says, hey, I really love dancing. I want to showcase that. I want to help people learn how to dance. I want to have that, be a part of who I am. And they do it, they teach it. It's not about like the Bentleys and the big cars and the big houses and, the money. By the way, showing pictures of money doesn't help anybody. Nobody gets paid in money except servers and strippers. So there's no value in showing that. People get paid for the work they do, and usually direct deposit. So as you think about, the fear of failure, for me, any kind of fear that you have is meant to be able to make sure that you're prepared to be able to overcome that fear. So if I'm afraid of failing because I don't know enough, then I need to learn up. And I'm not saying you have to go to school. There's so many tools out there that you can learn so many things on your own. And that way you get yourself ready. Sherm's out.